got the knowledge in store. Oh yeah, Alan Lang, watch him truck up a flare. Movie and TV show reviews what you need. Film threats on fire, we're planting the seeds. Film threat, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the phone, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. From blockbusters to indie gold. Oh yeah, Chris and Alan break the mold. Pop your corn, turn down the lights. Get ready to groove through movie nights. Film threat, we keep it real.
Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday, everyone. It's Film Threat on a Friday. Today on the show, we're reviewing a lot of movies. We got like 7 movies to review. What is this? The Accountant 2, Cheech and Chong's last movie, The Legend of Ochi, David Cronenberg's movie, The Shrouds, Until Dawn, a new horror movie, Neighborhood Watch, an indie movie, On Swift Horses, an indie movie, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith is in theaters. So much to talk about. And we have a ton of news. I just noticed a ton of news. So let's get going. Let's get started. And let's get the show on the road here. Where's Alan? Where is Alan? He was kind of trying to interrupt me on the show. I really have no clue what is going on here. Oh my God. What's going
Alan,
on?
I've been looking for you myself. Alan.
That didn't work.
What the hell is going on, and who is this Rachel Zegler? Why is she trying to hurt Walt's company, you selfish bitch?
How could Mickey say that?
I know. Mickey's always so positive. So how do I sound? Did I sound pretty good now?
Amazing. I know you did like a mic test on our members only stream.
Yeah.
And then sang a song.
Yeah. So if you're a member, head over to the member stream and you will hear my rendition of a very special song from a very special movie.
Oh my God. I was dying. It was so good. Although I have to tell you, you misspelled acapella and rendition.
Yeah, it was
it's not rendition. Whatever. Who cares? You sound amazing. This is like fantastic.
And I do have to say, I was somewhat overwhelmed by Revenge of the Sith last night.
By the way, I could not get tickets. The Prime Theater in Burbank completely sold out except for the first row. It's insane. It's also sold out tonight and Saturday.
You gotta go to a different theater. Go to a different theater.
I want to go to Burbank. They've got this Prime Theater that is incredible. I did sneak in and just sat there for a minute and watched, but
other places have Prime theaters too.
I want to see it in Burbank.
I
might go today.
Yeah.
So
I might see it again. I mean, look, it's not a perfect movie, but from what we've been getting from Disney, Star Wars,
it definitely stands heads and tails. Hey, let's see who's here in the chat, and I'm in a great mood. I'm on Coffee Cup 2, and we have 7 movies to review. It'll be fun. Here we go.
All right, BMO better. Let's go. Hail Film Threat and the Rumble Chant.
You mean chat, not chant?
Yes. Remember, I have a reading disorder. It's okay to laugh. TGI Film Threat.
Yeah.
Got that one right. Christopher Moonlight Productions. Happy Friday, everyone. Remember, check out my first article about AI in filmmaking on Film Threat. And remember, April 27th is the perfect date. All you need is a light jacket.
April 25th.
April 25th.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Christopher. His new column. I hope will help indie filmmakers, and we're so grateful to him. So that's awesome. Check that out on Film Threat right now.
MK Solid. Okay, people, keep it clean. No talking dirty. I know it's hard with Mr. Ing being here. Try to control yourselves.
I could listen to your voice all day, man. Thank you.
By the way, and then I know how to talk over everybody on verses.
Oh my God. I think Dante has the hottest mic, and for some reason he can never adjust it down. but it can't adjust it down. But and our last comment from Lord
Yes,
Thoth, who we appreciate.
Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, sign up as a member, join us on X, Discord, Rumble, and Instagram. Buy our merch, shop.filmthreat.com.
This is my favorite pint glass.
That's my favorite picture of that pint glass.
I have this pint glass, this Film Threat pint glass at shop.filmthreat.com. I drink out of that all the time. It's my favorite.
Yeah, and for $20, you can't beat it.
Yeah, exactly.
Try to get that at Disney.
Get one of those. Yeah. Thank you, Lord.
North Metman for €5.99. With the new mic, can we expect recordings of all your clips in higher audio quality? Man to woman.
Go.
Yeah,
no,
hey,
go.
Go to the member channel. No, go to the member channel. Sign up as a member. Go to the member channel, and you'll get the full. You'll be able to ingest the full song.
Yeah, the rendition a cappella.
Yeah. Day Trippers for 100 Argentinian pesos, I believe. Conclave is vying. Okay. Conclave is being re-released here in Argentina for the death of the Pope, who was from here. I'm very excited about watching this weekend a screening of Pink Floyd live from Pompeii and Sinners.
Yeah, I did something stupid. I texted, I messaged Alan. I went to see the Sneaks showcase of stuff they showed at CinemaCon because I didn't see everything. And I accidentally bought a ticket to Sneaks, the animated movie. I sat for 5 minutes. I thought I bought a ticket to the wrong movie and it wasn't playing the Sneaks showcase. So I snuck into Sinners and I saw it the second time. It was better the second time.
Mm-hmm. In that scene,
I still think the ending is flawed, but the world building, like the first 5 minutes of the movie, is so solid. You're just in. Like Ryan Coogler doesn't just make movies; he builds worlds, and the world building is so subtle. I was studying the first 5 minutes, like all the little things that happen and what they mean. It's so purposeful. He will win Best Director at some point. And he might. This movie will not be forgotten come Oscar season. I don't think.
I will humble brag. I saw back in the day when I was young and went to clubs and things like that. Went to a blues club in San Francisco. Saw Buddy Guy, and that's who played Old Sammy. And it was a pot-filled evening.
Oh, that's great. I mean, not for the pot, but the music.
Yeah. Okay, from D Goodhard, member for 12 months. Glad to be a member now for the whole year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have an achievement.
Yeah, and we do post, new videos for members only. So check those out on there. I mean, whatever my travels I do. I'm going to Lucha Vavoom in a week. I'm going to film some stuff from that. I'll post that. So all of Alan and our sort of collective adventures, we try to post there.
Also, we did a Jackbox stream last night, and I think we'll bring it back. My issue is I can't plan it. It's kind of if I got the time, I'll do it, and so you won't exactly get warning.
All right,
it is.
But I'll say this: the encouraging thing, it's the director of Nobody. And Nobody 2 is coming out, and you and I saw the trailer for that. So
yeah, I mean, I watching it, I don't have any real problems. It harkens back to the old comedies, action comedies of the 80s and 90s. It looks like it will probably fit in that category quite well.
It looks like a buddy action comedy, like you said, like the 80s. But I like that. I kind of think, is John Cena kind of doing a Trump, like a more over the top Trump? Who's a badass.
I don't know.
From the trailer.
No, I mean, he's the guy who got elected because he was a celebrity. I mean, that's the thing. And ironically, John Cena is the WWE undisputed champion. So it fits. He gets the role.
All right. Great. Well, let's go. We've got a lot of other news stories, and we'll kind of go through them. We'll go through them here, and then get to your comments. I promise. I'm going to start with this from this is a comment from Andor's Tony Gilroy about new leadership at Lucasfilm. He was asked during a press event. I'm going to play the video. It's 30 seconds. We'll comment on the other side, but this is from the Hollywood Reporter's X account. Let's watch this. So, like anyone running for president, Tony Gilroy is the new head of Lucasfilm. He's saying, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to run it. Yeah. I mean, look, these Kathleen Kennedy rumors, you could put out a video a week, like Gary on the Nooner on Wednesday. We looked at stories going all the way back to 2017, and literally a story a year comes out. Is she retiring? I think it's wish fulfillment on the part of, Star Wars fans, because they really are unhappy with what we're getting Star Wars wise. Although shock, I really liked season 2 of Andor. I'm as surprised as you. I did not expect that. Those first 3 episodes are not great, but wow, does it get good and pay off? So there you go. Alan, any thoughts?
Yeah. Do you want to be in a Star Wars movie?
No.
And if I had asked you 15 years ago, do you want to be in a Star Wars movie?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's the state of Star Wars. Why? Look, 15 years ago, if Tony Gilroy had been asked, do you want to be a part of Star Wars or lead Star Wars? Maybe he would have said yes. But the way Lucasfilm and Star Wars is today, it's an absolute no. And it's because, look, as cool as a job might be, it's your leadership. And if you can't respect the leadership and you don't trust the leadership, then you're on a sinking ship, no matter how beautiful that ship looks.
Another news story here. Pedro, I cannot believe this. Pedro Pascal said something stupid. It's a Tuesday in Hollywood when an actor says something stupid. But Pedro Pascal, who of course exited the Last of Us season 2 by having his character murdered with a golf club. I am not watching that season 2. Season 1 was fine, and I really enjoyed most of it, for sure.
It was the flagship show of Disney Plus, the Mandalorian.
Well, no, I'm talking about Last of Us season 1, which was on Max. It was on Max.
I've completely forgotten about that show.
Yes, Last of Us season 1, Last of Us season 2. I think the first 2 episodes aired, and he gets killed in the second episode. Spoilers, it happens in the game. But Alan, if you would bring up the notes for this
Sure.
From the Hollywood Reporter. Pedro Pascal calls J.K. Rowling a heinous loser for latest trans comments. So Pedro Pascal has a brother who is trans, a trans woman. I you know what? I don't know how it worked with the pronouns and what how you're supposed to talk about it. All I know is he has a sibling who is trans. Let's leave it there. Sibling who is trans. We know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in the real world, we know the truth. And that person who is trans can be whatever they want. I am fine. I don't care. But Pedro's got some choice words for J.K. Rowling. I find this really ironic because Pedro works for HBO, works for Max. And J.K. Rowling is doing the new Harry Potter show on Max. How do they handle that? I mean, are they going to fire him? They don't have to. He's already out of work. I mean, taking roles for actors, roles for people who work on film and TV, it's a freelance job. When the job ends, you're out of work. looking for the next job. So they can't exactly fire him. But what did he have to say, Alan, if you give us the crux of the story here?
He actually does have a job. He's Avengers, Doomsday, and
well, that's Disney, different company.
Right.
I'm just pointing out.
Pedro Pascal works for every company. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyways.
All right. Pedro Pascal calls J.K. Rowling a heinous loser. Pedro Pascal recently criticized author J.K. Rowling on Instagram. Awful, disgusting shit is exactly right. Heinous loser behavior. In response to a celebratory post about the UK Supreme Court ruling that defines sex as biological, including trans women from legal recognition as women. Pascal commented under the activist post, which denounced Rowling's stance and urged a boycott of HBO's upcoming Harry Potter series. Although Pascal didn't mention Harry Potter directly, his agreement with the post is seen as many as aligning with calls to undermine the reboot's success. This is notable given his prominent role in HBO's own hit series, Pascal. Pascal's brother. This is written weird. Pascal's brother to a trans woman has consistently used his platform to advocate for trans rights. Recently, even donning the Protect the Dolls shirt at a red carpet event. Meanwhile, HBO is downplaying boycott concerns, pointing to the success of Hogwarts Legacy, despite similar backlash. The controversy highlights ongoing tensions between Rowling's view and her enduring influence on the franchise.
Well, first of all, great, Mike. I love your read of that. You could probably slow down a bit, I would just say. But I gave you my thoughts. I don't think Pedro Pascal has said some wildly just things that if Gina Carano was let go because of her comments, if that's the standard, he should have been let go for his comments from Mandalorian. Based on what he said. And ultimately, what does he do? He's a voice actor. They could have replaced him. I mean, he's not in the suit half the time, more than half. So I don't know. I think that he, for some reason, he is free to say whatever he wants and gets cast more often. Alan, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's it. It's the free speech. She can say what she wants. He can say what he wants, and we can talk about it. And no one should lose their jobs. No one should go to jail. No one should have their lives threatened for it. In terms of the comment itself, I mean, J.K. Rowling is not against trans. She is against trans in athletics. She is against trans in bathrooms. And in terms of children, gender affirming care for children, that's the stuff she's brought up. And in a recent CNN poll, when asked, do you support trans athletes in sports, 80% of the people who responded said no. 20%. You don't ever get a response like that from 80% of the population.
Right.
So in terms of how is this going to affect HBO, it's not, because people don't care. People know. People understand what's going on, and that this issue is being brought up to inflame the left, and there's just not enough people who agree with that position to make an ounce of effect on whether Harry Potter will be successful or not.
Yeah, I think the tide has turned on this issue in terms of people have seen the real costs. Women losing out on college scholarships in athletics. It's affected people and people, and they can talk about how it's just a small, why do you care what it affects? It affects, going to the bathroom in certain places, especially in California. It's, I think there needs to be, I think the public has turned around on this. We want to be accepting of, if you want to live a certain lifestyle, live as a certain way. I don't think anyone cares about that until it affects others. If you insist on others
unfairly, let's put it that way.
Yeah. And so I think that it's, J.K. Rowling is right on this issue. I think a lot of minds have been changed because of what we've seen happen and you can be trans. You're allowed to exist and be trans. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
But
you shouldn't go to jail. You shouldn't be threatened. You can, if that's what you choose to be, you can be that.
You choose to be that or whatever. I mean, one thing I always loved about moving to LA was like, I was like, wow, like I'm dressed pretty normal. If you see me, I'm like jeans, t-shirt, jacket. I dress, but one of the things I loved about moving to LA is like, wow, people really are outrageous. And I like that. I like, let your freak flag fly. When I was in Michigan dressing kind of like a punk, I'd be ridiculed. But you're coming to the West. This was back in the 80s, different time. Yeah. I think people are more accepting now.
Yeah. By the way, what do you call a trans female sports team?
What?
Winners.
Did you write that joke?
Yeah, I wrote it.
Yeah. But look, I think that people for the most part are very accepting, whether it's gay rights or trans or whatever. They don't care. Just don't bother me. Don't bother me. Don't be invading women's spaces. Don't take opportunities away from women. I think that now that we've seen the real cost of widespread unchecked acceptance, that's led to all these problems, and it's turned the entire public around on this issue. It's a hill I think one political party is going to die on. Mm-hmm. So,
by the way, keep pushing the issue, please.
Yeah,
to that one part.
Let's go to comments here. We have a lot, and then we have a couple more news stories, and we'll get to our reviews.
All right. JWT 6577 member for 19 months. Is there any G20? Is there any G20 wasn't greenlit in anticipation of a Harris presidency?
I wonder if it was. I don't know when it was in production, but certainly Kamala Harris was VP when it was being made. So there could be that assumption. It makes sense. A lot of Hollywood, what they do with these things is they project like this could happen. Like when Morgan Freeman was president in, what was that Meteor movie?
Oh, Deep Impact.
Yeah. So, and then we got a black president. So, I think they do try to seed things with like, hey, this could happen. This could happen. So yeah, I think you're right.
All right, over on Rumble, Pat for one, Better Man just released in Thailand. Saw it yesterday because of your recommendation. Very good film.
Yeah, everyone who sees that film loves it. Gary Beekler says it's his like favorite movie of last year.
Yeah,
but the trailers were terrible. The poster was terrible. The premise was terrible. The movie is great.
You literally couldn't market that movie.
You can't.
I mean, our recommendation was basically trust us. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's on Paramount Plus if you haven't had a chance to see it.
And when you say trust us, I was on the Critical Drinker open bar last night, and the chat loved me.
Okay.
The chat loved me. I had now I'm just gonna go on Drinker Show and fuck with people because they really don't like me and I don't care. I had a really interesting take about Jar Jar that during your Revenge of the Sith review, I'm going to give you my take, and I'll tell you what my take is. Here we go.
All right, Ban Brindle Beard the third for 199. What is your favorite Cronenberg movie?
The Fly, 100%. The Fly, great film.
Yeah,
Alan?
after the Fly stopped watching Cronenberg movies.
Well, there you go. Alan's not a horror fan.
I'm not a horror fan, especially that body horror stuff. That was, oh my god, I can't. The Fly. William for 5. You can go back in time and try and fix one movie that was trash due to woke DEI shenanigans. What movie are you going to try and save?
Can I say the Star Wars sequel trilogy? That is the greatest missed opportunity in film history. It should have been the biggest hit. The build up to the reuniting of Han, Luke, and Leia, which we did not get. We will look back. I believe we will look back on this era of filmmaking as Hollywood went crazy and forced agendas and made shitty movies. But the biggest tragedy is the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Alan?
Snow White. I mean, it's the remake of the movie that started the Walt Disney Company. And I just like to see a proper version of it.
Yeah, a proper live you could make a proper live action.
They have made proper live action versions of Snow White.
Go see the death of Snow White.
Yeah. Wes Ray, I identify as Batman. My pronouns are Dark Knight.
Well, there you go. Thanks.
Dietrich 64 member for 24 months. Guess I still like you, Chris and Alan. 24 months.
Well, thank you, Geek Truth 64.
Yeah.
I watched your physical media review. Man, I'm envious. I wish I had the space that you have for DVDs. I don't have the space. I got to get on that.
All right. Dutch McHolland, Rowling is such a loser with her $1 billion franchise. Yeah.
True.
I want to lose like her. Bill W, is this the gayest Pedro Pascal ever? No, I think every Pedro Pascal is Razorburn. He is one Pedro I did not vote for. Mars Monkey Man, what type of mic did Alan get? It's not actually the mic. It's a Shure mic, and I've had that for years. But I got the Elgato Wave, which is the interface between the mic and the computer.
Oh, where'd you get the Shure mic?
The Shure mic? Oh, I bought it I think I bought it at Guitar Center.
I thought I gave you a mic.
Yeah, it wasn't a Shure. Oh, maybe I have. You might have given me a Shure mic.
I did give you one.
Yeah, the one you gave me is more like it's shaped differently. It's somewhere in this room, but I've always had. I have 3 Shure mics in my.
Well, good. You have a backup, so there you go.
All right, D. Goodhart. Oh man, John Cena as president. Talk about suspension of disbelief.
We will, in our lifetime, get President Camacho or someone very like Camacho.
I'm just saying he's gonna have the greatest championship run this year at WWE, and you're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate him. Seed. I can't see John Cena without picturing him apologize to China for calling Taiwan a country.
Yeah,
he bent the knee.
His accent was crazy. All right. More news before we get to reviews. Fantastic Four is coming up. It's coming up, folks. And Julia Garner, who plays the female Silver Surfer, had some comments in Entertainment Weekly. Julia Garner talks joining Fantastic Four first steps. Wait, isn't the Silver Surfer a man? Even she's saying it. Alan, if you would go through the story for us, and I'm going to keep up this still from the trailer of Julia Garner as female Silver Surfer looks god awful. It looks like, you know what it looks like? A close up of a trophy, the top of a trophy.
Yeah, world's best mom,
like an Emmy or something. Anyways, Alan, if you would read the story for us.
All right. When Julia Garner was first approached about joining the Fantastic Four first steps, she was surprised to learn that she'd be playing the Silver Surfer, and even more surprised to hear it was a woman. Wait, isn't the Silver Surfer a man? She recalled asking during her meeting with director Matt Shakman. That's when she was introduced to Shalabal, a lesser-known but powerful female version of the character from the comics. Though unfamiliar with the full lore at first, Garner dove into the source material and embraced the challenge of bringing Shalabal to life. Her Silver Surfer is unlike any before, elegant, mysterious, and layered with ambiguity about her loyalty to Galactus. Despite her fear of the ocean and the lack of surfing experience, Garner built her performance from comic book visuals, describing her movement as a blend of surfing stances and sculptural dance poses. Now, as the first live-action female Silver Surfer, she's ready to introduce audiences to the new cosmic force, one that's both a nod to Marvel's deep history and a bold step into uncharted territories.
Well, let me say this. I like Julia Garner as an actress. I think female Silver Surfer is a terrible idea. I think we've all, from the beginning when it was announced, bad idea. Now that we've seen the character, it gets worse. I think the more we see of Fantastic Four, the less confident I am that it will be good. So kind of a disappointment. But even she is aware. And can you imagine if they just did the Silver Surfer correctly?
Yeah.
They could introduce her later, but it's totally going to be Sue Storm and Shalabal. You know,
Shalabal.
She would have been, Julia Garner would have been good as Alicia.
That's true.
The Thing's blind girlfriend.
Alicia Masters,
yeah. Whose dad is the puppet master, but that's a whole other story. I don't know. Even the actress was aware, like this character is a man. I don't think it's gonna work. And it's I'm dreading now seeing this movie.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I kind of wish if they were gonna go female that it would have been Frankie Ray, and then you get someone who looked like Frankie Ray to play it. The thing that caught me in this article was her stance, part surfing and then part dancer. I wonder what Doug Jones thought when he was creating his version of the Silver Surfer.
It's just
it's like Hollywood.
But Doug Jones, it was makeup. I mean, enhanced by CG, but he was in a costume. It looked amazing. And then he had Lawrence Fishburne's voice. The character worked.
By the way, your comment about Sue Storm and Shalabal, it's in the trailer. There's that moment where the two kind of face off, and it's the world hangs on that one conversation there.
Yeah. Well, we shall see come July 25th, which is the week of Comic-Con. My assumption is you and I will see the movie the Monday or Tuesday before Comic-Con in Burbank.
Yeah.
So, well, there you go. More stuff is happening. Before we get to our reviews and comments. And here we go. Netflix CEO says movie theater model is outdated. I could not disagree with this more. The model may be outdated, but there is no better way to experience a movie. From Variety, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos says movie theater model is outdated. Most of the country cannot walk to a multiplex. Well, that's true. Can't walk, but that never stopped me. By the way, I am fortunate. I live in an area of Pasadena where I can walk to like 3 different movie theaters, including an iPic and a Regal, are like 3-4 blocks away. And I live in this area by design. I live here. So there you go. Alan, if you would give and there's a little wrinkle. I have a surprise at the end of this story to share with you.
Here we go. At the Time 100 Summit, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos didn't mince words about the state of movie theaters. While expressing a fondness for the theater experience, he made it clear that he believes their traditional dominance is over. Sarandos argued that the idea of audiences watching films in packed cinemas for months on end is outdated for most people, especially those who don't live in cities like Manhattan. While Netflix still owns a few historic theaters and gives some films limited releases for awards eligibility, Sarandos stressed that the future belongs to filmmakers who prioritize fan experiences over box office nostalgia. He urged filmmakers to focus less on preserving the old theatrical model and more on making movies people love wherever they choose to watch them.
Yeah, I just look, I like Netflix for what it is. And they have made some movies that are worthy of theatrical.
Yeah, in fact, I sang a song from one of those movies on the member channel.
You were amazing.
Yes.
I thought it was great. But I got to tell you, I disagree with this. And so does, I think some other people agree with me. Joe Russo, who did the recent, this isn't Joe Russo. This is a different Joe Russo.
Yeah.
I get these guys mixed up all the time.
And he plays into it. That's the thing.
He does. Good. He's tricked me. He's had some bad takes, but look, here he says
He's had some good takes too.
some good ones and bad ones, just like me. Whatever. I don't care. Ted, my guy. So from his X account, Joe Russo tweets, which is not the Joe Russo who made Electric State, says, Ted, my guy, maybe get to a movie theater and see what is happening with Sinners right now. People still want communal cinematic experiences more than they want to sit at home by themselves to watch Netflix. And I agree. And there you go. We have our own Disparu, who I followed Disparu. If people wanted that so much, they wouldn't need to hold the movie hostage with an exclusive window. They could happily release it on VOD at the same time. People would still rush to the cinema for the joy of hearing other people talk over it. Well, I don't know about that. But Alan, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Okay, I'll take the devil's advocate position because I don't necessarily agree with what he says, but he spotlights some things that are interesting. The theatrical model, if I were to take it just at its words, it is outdated. You're not going to have Titanic happen again. No movie is going to have Titanic happen again, where it sits in theaters for over a year and people keep coming to watch it. It's just not going to happen. And to kind of base your economic model off of that is outdated. But at the same time, and then to also support what he said, the last thing he said was filmmakers should focus on making good movies instead of movies that bring people into the theaters, which is also true. We just want good movies. And some movies, I think what's happening here is some movies belong in theaters, some movies belong in streaming. And we've said that many times reviewing movies, that this shouldn't be even in the theater. It should just go straight to streaming. Sinners is that example. It's a movie you need to see in the theater. We just saw Revenge of the Sith again. You got to see that in the theater. Movie theaters, the success of movies in theaters is basically how much of an event is it going to be. Just how movies really need to be special in order to really break through in the theaters. I think the biggest surprise is Minecraft. That was special enough, and it hit an audience that this story speaks to. The younger set, that was the movie that they wanted to go to the theater and see, versus the Marvels or Captain America: Brave New World or Snow White, where they saw it and they realized this is not worth me going to the theater to see. And so I think this is one of those, they're both right. Theaters are important, but we need to make movies that are special enough to be in theaters.
Like Oppenheimer was that experience. Barbie. Yeah, exactly. Like we keep bringing that up. But
Five Nights at Freddy's. Look at that. Five Nights at Freddy's opened in theaters and on streaming at the same time, and kids still went to see it in theaters.
Well, it was an event. It was, and it's funny. Like I remember when Barbie was playing for months, they had this display where you could be like a Barbie action figure. So,
or in the Barbie box,
the Barbie box, and women and people that went to see the movie, they put themselves in the box and took photos. They made it about themselves. It's a social media post. It's so funny because I even noticed this with like a lot of art events. They change like art galleries and events like this to include photo ops. Right? Like this is not just you're going to see the art at a gallery, it's a photo op. And that happened with Barbie. And now I see the Thunderbolts. They've got that big Wheaties box is like actually in the theater, a big Wheaties box. You see people taking a lot of the big displays in theater lobbies are made for you to take photos of yourself.
Yeah. And then post it on social media.
Exactly. So fine. A weird aside, but I will always support the theatrical experience. It's there's nothing like it. So there you go. All right, Alan, if you will get to this, I'm going to get a second cup of coffee and I'll be right back while you read comments, and I can hear you. So I'll be back.
Okay, here we go. MK Solid. It looks like Metallic Mario from Mario 64. That's I believe referring to Silver Surfer. Day Trippers for 100. Do we get this one? Yeah, okay, here we go. That FF trailer made me finally decide to get tickets for Superman and not give my money to Disney. Pedro's comments on Rowling also didn't help in that regard. Absolutely. It's not helping. Stop actor interviews. Magnum Norse for 5. I wanted to watch Andor, then I realized I should get a colonoscopy so I don't die of ass cancer. Okay, good. Good. You got your priorities. Joe Pat 87 for 20. Thank you for the 20. Dude, Netflix produces cheap slop that you can gloss over rather than properly engage with. It lives down to the reputation of straight to video and made for TV entertainment, and fittingly so. They're less cinema and more Fox. Yeah, I will say this, that that is true, but also Netflix runs off an algorithm, and so they make movies based on what the algorithm tells them. I've talked to a producer who has made Netflix films, and that's exactly what happens. At the same time, they do try to produce art films, films that are worthy of the Academy Awards, like Amelia Perez. All right, let's see. Here's another one. Burt Face, remember for 1 month. Get rid of Pick Your Seat, ruin the experience. Ruin the experience. No, I love Pick Your Seat. Here we go. Razor Burn. Part of it is because I'm guaranteed my seat. I'm not going to have to sit up front if I didn't get my ticket in time. Razor Burn. If you're going to do female Silver Surfer, at least model it after Tessa Fowler. You're welcome. The Garth Knight returns. I saw a comic book up close, therefore I am a nerd now. All Hollywood actors. At least she recognized it. ADL is 24. Are we surfers or are we dancers? I believe that's a song. Razor Burn. I miss drive-in theaters. I snuck in so many friends in the trunk, which is why we don't have drive-in theaters. BMO Better. You can't trust your friend's house when going to see Minecraft. You can't trash your friend's house when going to see Minecraft. Yes, you can. The Nerd Far Away. I still want to go to theaters. I really wish some of y'all lived in my town so we could all hang out at the movies. Well, move to LA. Let's see. Patrick Lemire. The Academy needs to tighten up its rules and exclude Netflix movies that do a few days in LA. Netflix uses the prestige of cinema to kill cinema. Give me a second here. Yeah, the problem is if you exclude Netflix, you got to exclude everyone else who does that. They run their awards quality movie in those last few weeks in December and then release it a month later, open wide in theaters. They do it so they can get qualifications. Netflix is taking advantage of that rule. Let's see. Patrick Lemire, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Wait a second. Netflix. Oh, real quick. Sorry, Alan. Netflix actually bought a movie theater in LA, restored it. It's beautiful.
The old Egyptian.
Yeah. On Hollywood Boulevard, they use it for events and premieres, and it is an exceptional theatrical experience. Mm-hmm. It is amazing.
Yeah. Especially the sound.
Yeah.
All right. Patrick Lemire, Five Nights at Freddy's would have done better with a 2-month window. You are probably right, and that's why they're not doing the sequel the same way. But at the same time, it's proof that if you have a movie that's special enough, people will come out and see it, especially the youth.
There you go.
All right. And you'll make $100 million off it. Bill S. Preston Esquire. I like Pick Your Seat, but I I do think it's hurting theaters. Pick your seat? How is pick your seat hurting theaters?
I love reserving my seat, but I remember the last time that I really was in line for a movie was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
I was in line, waiting in a big fat line.
Well, you were seeing the midnight showing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I was in the same position. 2
at
hours.
The arc light, at the arc light in the Cinerama Dome. Those were the days.
Yeah. I was downtown Disney at the time.
There you go.
Kyle Murdoch, man to woman to surfer, penis to vagina. Okay, you are frozen right now. I don't know.
I'm frozen.
Yes, you are.
Oh no, that means I have to
picking your nose. You're picking your nose right now.
No, I'm okay. I'm coming back.
Okay. Yeah, Lori, if you can help me grab a couple more comments here. Yeah, here we go. Bill S. Preston Esquire. People reserve seats but don't go. And folks want to go pass on screenings because they only see bad seats open. Yes, I mean I do that. If it's only the front seat, I don't go. I go to a different one. And yes, I will admit, certain promotions require you to buy a ticket to get that promotion. And yes, I have bought tickets, usually in the front row, so that I can get that promotion and not have to see the movie. Regal had a great one over the summer. This was before the pandemic, but they would pick 4 movies. And if you saw all 4 movies, they would send you codes to get voodoo codes so you can own that movie online. And I did not see the movie. I bought a ticket. But the thing is, you do it at 1:00 in the afternoon. No one's there anyway. So it's not like you're stealing a seat from someone, and the theater gets their money. Okay. What else we got? Here we go. From Sam Spurgeon. I'm still trying to figure out how her fear of the ocean has anything to do with playing surfer. Her point was that she is not a surfer. And she is playing Silver Surfer. That's the point she's making. And then from Fish Jones, this Netflix exec is the only one saying the quiet part out loud. All these studios would love to put their stuff on streaming and cut theaters. COVID was a godsend for them. Yeah. I think they say these things because the filmmakers are pushing back and saying that they want theatrical. Yes. Mr. Maestro for 999. What would happen if a major award, Academy Awards, Oscars, at all, required a certain amount of time for the theatrical run to be eligible? Anything interesting or a nonsensical idea? All I will say is Oscar films don't draw audiences.
They do not, but they would be wise to do that. Because the problem is, then you get all these movies. People look at the Best Picture nominees and they don't even, they'd say, I've never heard of this movie, which hurts the ratings of the Oscars. And it hurts the idea that there is sort of a mass popular movies, at least the movies that were considered Oscar films back in the day. People actually went to see those films.
Yeah. But when you have a limited number of screens, it's hard to bring in the Oscar films, especially when they all come in December and to draw an audience for them. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine a theater saddled with Emilia Perez for 2 months, 2 or 3 months?
No, they could do sing-alongs though. Thank you, Mr. Maestro.
Okay. Slim Jim 491. Member for 60 months. Happy Friday. I need more coffee.
Well, I just got some, so thank you for that. Thanks for being a member. All right, it's time to start reviewing films. We're going to save that one story for next week, actually. So, what should we start with, Alan? What do you think?
All right. Shall we start with Legend of Ochi?
Let's do that.
All right.
Let's do that. The Legend of Ochi. Alan, tell me the story of the Legend of Ochi.
Okay. In a secluded northern village on the island of Carpathia, The villagers live in fear at night as the Ochi steal their sheep, kill their produce, and so the villagers decide that they are going to protect themselves, and they go on a tradition of the Ochi hunt. And the story is about a man named Maxim, who's played by Willem Dafoe. He takes his daughter and the other kids in the village and teaches them how to hunt Ochi. The night is good, but not good enough because none of them died. So the girl, Willem Dafoe has a daughter named Yuri. She's just not a hunter. She's not into it. And when asked to go out into the woods to check the traps, she notices a baby Ochi injured by a bear trap. She releases it, nurses it back to health, takes it back home, and the two form a bond. And then she finally realizes, because her father hates the Ochi and that all the villagers hate the Ochi, that she needs to take the little baby back to the Ochi lair to be back with its parents. And that is the adventure as she is being chased by her father and the other children.
I have to say, right off, good description of the story.
Mhm.
It really does. It's this bond between Yuri and the little baby Ochi that is the heart of the film. Obviously, Finn Wolfhard plays the sort of head of the boys. He's the biggest, and the boys. I love this.
Kind of like a
It's
half
all-
brother too, in a way.
Yeah. All the young boys have guns, and they have guns and weapons, and they're out there shooting. And eventually, Willem Dafoe like dresses in like a armor. It's kind of ridiculous. Dude, I love this film. I love this film so much. I mean, you could say it's a children's film, but it doesn't talk down to kids. It reminds me of the kind of movies Disney would have made in the 70s. Like, there's something about this that also feels very 80s. The Ochi themselves are puppets that are, I'm going to guess, CGI enhanced, but they have this language where they speak through singing, and Yuri, like, he gets a bite from the baby Ochi, which infects her, but also gives her the ability to communicate with the baby Ochi. This movie's so fun. It's 95 minutes. It was shot in Romania. It looks beautiful. Like, some of the imagery looks like an old school matte paintings that they would do a lot in the 80s. That was in effect in Star Wars and a lot of films. They use matte paintings to show like a big vista, and it's beautiful. The music is phenomenal. It just harkens back to like these old school 80s adventure.
Or even like the
films.
Pippi Longstocking, that kind of era.
Yeah, like that era. I love there's a scene where they go to a grocery store because they're hungry, and that whole thing, the way that plays out is so funny, but also serious. What's going on? That, you know, they're trying to kill the Ochi. And I loved it. It's that the girl who plays Yuri is fantastic. And Finn Wolfhard has very few lines in the movie, but he's really good. And same thing with Willem Dafoe. There's a whole thing that is revealed about her mother and what happened. Their family kind of split apart, and resolving that. It's very 80s inspired. It's fun. It's clever. The puppetry is unbelievable, like we've never seen, like beyond Jim Henson level, like maybe even like beyond like Dark Crystal. Like, they feel real. So I really loved it. Cannot recommend it enough. So it's in theaters, A24, 95 minutes too, doesn't overstay its welcome, and really good for kids. So I saw this with my daughter last night, and she loved it.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as you. I will. This comment pretty much sums it up from Mob 19001. Wes Anderson's E.T. That's kind of how I felt about this movie.
But I like Wes Anderson, and I like E.T.
Well, I don't like Wes. And then you brought up the fact that this reminds you of the Disney live actions of the 70s. newsflash, those weren't very good either.
I know they weren't good, but they were. Here's what they had. Here's why. Words to associate with this film. It's wholesome and whimsical.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I'll give you that. It's wholesome, it's whimsical, and you're right in terms of I did love the visuals. I didn't love the music as much as you, but the puppetry or however they animated the little Ochi, incredible. This just set the bar in terms of how you do this kind of up close CGI, because it's not just the Ochi. There are caterpillars, there's insects that are all animated the same way. It is an incredible world, but at the same time, my issue is that I'll go back. I say this is the ongoing trope, but cute animals should live, ugly animals should die. The only reason you love these creatures is because they're cute. Because of that, I felt there's this manipulation going on, saying you must love this creature because it's cute and it does cute things. So therefore, if you don't love it, you're a horrible, cold-hearted person, which maybe I am. The other thing is, I don't know, this Wes Anderson aspect of it, it just felt like a parody to me. And I kind of wish it was a parody versus trying to be deadly serious, because, people don't act like this. This is, it's kind of that surreal Wes Anderson style where, people act weird and we just accept them for weird. And when the revelation of the mother comes out, I'm like, okay, I mean, this is, I've seen this story before. E.T. did it best and everything else is a derivation of it. So look, if you have kids and you want to take them to a movie that you will mildly enjoy, this is a good movie to take them to, but it's not something I can fully recommend.
Yeah, I will say this, like, it's one of those, like, there are movies made for kids that are insufferable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, Sneaks, which you saw and I saw part of. I could not run out of the theater quicker. There is nothing there for adults. It's torture for adults. This is a movie you can enjoy with kids and have a really good time. And it's the Ochi, the puppetry. I mean,
I still don't know. I don't know how they did it. And I
don't know how they did it. It's like, was it I feel like it's like they did the puppetry where they had like green screen of people moving the puppets, and then
but it could have been computer generated too. That's the other thing.
Parts of it, maybe the blinking eyes, whatever.
Right, but I don't see it. I can't
figure out how they made it. It's so believable, that aspect. And by the way, I like the weirdness of Wes Anderson. Yes, it's gotten now over the top where it can be mocked, but it's different than Wes Anderson. Don't let that turn you off.
But it's that surrealistic style of Wes Anderson that kind of bothers me. That I just can't take this story seriously because no one on screen takes it seriously.
All right, well, I give it a strong recommend. 8 out of 10. Yeah. Alan?
I don't. Like I said, if you have kids who like cute creatures, yes, take them to see this movie. But other than that, no. They're better movies.
Let's go to comments quick.
All right, this is actually for the account too.
Okay.
All right, Joe Chapman, will it make me cry? Not me.
You might get weepy eyed in the end. I don't know about cry, but the ending, I just really love. Go see it. You'll be, like I said, whimsical and wholesome.
If you're susceptible to the alluring, hypnotic, gay appearance of cute animals, then yes, you'll get weepy. Go party time. It reminds me of Gremlins with adventure. I liked it.
It is.
Gremlins was better.
Let's go to our next. I'm going to review a movie real quick, Neighborhood Watch.
Okay.
We put that up because this week there were a lot of films, and there were a lot of films this week. If we could change that poster up. A lot of films opening this week. Alan, you've seen some that I have not, and vice versa. I've seen movies you have not. Neighborhood Watch is a small indie movie starring Jack Quaid as an autistic man, but it's Jack Quaid with curly long hair. And his neighbor, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is a retired security guard. Jack Quaid's character thinks he has witnessed a woman being abducted and wants to save her. So he enlists the aid of his neighbor to go and track her down and save this young woman. And they go on an adventure together. It's a very much an indie movie. It's filled with indie movie tropes. I found it I found this movie completely tiresome. We've seen it before, like the road movie stuff. It's like it's this, small dramatic nature. Jack Quaid is kind of pushes the autism a little too over the top for me. I like both these actors. I like Jack Quaid and I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan a lot, but I've seen this kind of indie film before. It's very low budget. It sort of falls into cliches for this kind of movie that I feel like it's like, oh, I've seen this before. I've seen this many times. So it's kind of sad. It's sad to say it's really nothing to write home about. It's thankfully it's 92 minutes, R-rated, but so predictable. And I don't know if you're a super fan of these two actors, I'd give it a watch, but honestly, this one is a pass for me. It opens in limited release, and it's just it's like this weird combination of he's autistic, he's old grumpy security guard, and they're trying to find a woman, and hilarity ensues, except it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I could say something better about this, but it's again falls into indie film tropes that and Jack Quaid as the autistic guy just gets, after a while, just kind of tiresome. So this is a pass. I saved you, Alan. I saved you time.
Thank you. How has Hollywood not made a movie starring Pedro Pascal, Jack Quaid, and Awkwafina?
What, dude? It's like rolling the dice. You get basically Pedro is a six side dice. His name is on all sides, and then you just add other actors.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's not in this, but he may as well have been. He could have played Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character, but I really again wish I like these actors. Wish this movie grabbed me. It did not. Let's go to comments real quick.
AD Ellis, when did Jack Quaid have the time to shoot 4 fucking films in 2025?
Only 4? It's early in the year.
I know. There's got to be more.
Yeah, I mean, he's in that Amazon movie, Heads of State, coming out.
Yeah. All right, Solomon Thornton. I sense people are going to say that Jack Quaid is in everything now. Yeah.
He is now. Thanks, Solomon.
Yeah, by the way, what has happened to Awkwafina? I don't think she's done a movie yet this year. Negra Snape, thanks for joining us for the Jackbox stream. So basically, Jack Quaid is full smiley face.
That's the problem with the movie.
Mm-hmm. It's just a little inauthentic. And we're gonna review another film today that deals with that. Eric Stratton, member for 28 months. When people disagreed on movies or theme park rides, I used to get irritated. In the last 10 years, I now just curious, not mad. You find cool stuff that way.
Yeah, I agree. Like I like hearing different opinions about things. I don't know. I'm just like, well, why did you love it? Or why did you not like it? And then I have my own opinion and then I move on. But I like hearing, especially like Alan disagreed with me about Legend of Ochi. He had very good reasons. I disagree with Alan. I still disagree, but my mind could be changed. His criticisms, I think, are valid, but in spite of that, I still enjoyed the movie. So yeah, it's weird. I think I was really kind of like in the chat with Drinker. It's really Snarky Jay and I were having a behind the scenes conversation about the chat hates us. Like, who cares? But I like hearing things that are different opinions, and can you show me how you see this? I like that. So thank you for that comment. That was great. Let's get to The Accountant 2. Alan, if you'll bring that up.
Oh.
The Accountant 2 is the sequel to The Accountant. No surprise. Ben Affleck is back as Christian Wolf, the accountant. He's dating in a hilarious sequence in the film where he meets a bunch of women, and I'm told that this scene, the responses that he gives were like ad-libbed, and it's hilarious autism of someone who's autistic and dating and has data to back that up. And it was and he's very popular, Christian, because he's very good looking. He's Ben Affleck, so all the women want to talk to him. This leads to he reunites with his brother Brax, played by John Bernthal, when it turns into I don't want to ruin the opening action sequence, because there are consequences from that lead to what will drag Brax and his brother Christian into what is effectively taking down a child trafficking ring that takes them on a action-packed third act. I don't want to ruin that at all. But between, when leading up to that sequence, John Bernthal and Ben Affleck have amazing chemistry.
Yeah.
They make this thing. Bernthal being the non-autistic, but is well aware of his brother's issues. And I don't know. I really got into this. It's not only is the action great, but the interplay between Brax and Christian totally works. There's that third act. Holy hell. It's fantastic. And it's weird that it's being downplayed that it's child trafficking is what it involves.
I think it's human trafficking. It's not
human
just
trafficking.
Yeah.
Not just human trafficking, but it's none of that is you wouldn't know unless I just told you just now. So I gotta say, John Bernthal, he does not get enough credit.
He does not get enough work. I'd rather see John Bernthal than Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why can't he be the new Pedro Pascal? John Bernthal is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's also like the action in this. These guys are really good with guns. I mean, Ben Affleck is a star. John Bernthal deserves to be, but their precision with these weapons, the believability is amazing.
Yeah. I like the fact that they run out of bullets.
Yes.
That they're constantly having to change the cartridges. And it just lends that level of authenticity you don't see in other action scenes like this.
Yes, they keep it realistic. And I really loved it. I think this is the movie this in Warfare.
Mm.
Two very different films, but very good action movies, on their own merits. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely see this one over Warfare. And then the other comparison is the Amateur.
Yes. Oh, so it's way better than the Amateur.
Yeah, way better.
Way better.
So I've never seen the first Accountant.
It's on Amazon for free.
It's on Amazon, but I didn't see it, and you don't need to. You kind of get it right from the start. I think what I love about this movie is that it hits a lot of genres that I've enjoyed over the years. One is the procedural. Big fan of CSI, and there's that aspect of it. Not only is Ben Affleck autistic, but he's hired a whole bunch, an entire team of autistic people to help him solve crimes. And I do like the fact that there is then you have the legal and illegal thing where it's a Treasury deputy who is trying to do this investigation and has to use these guys who just constantly break the law in order to get things done, and that she has to kind of struggle with that. There's a lot of layers to this movie, but ultimately it scratched that procedural crime story itch, and it's also a great action movie, especially at the end. It goes to some, it pushes the boundaries of comfortability. I like that. The fact that what they're going to do to these, at the third act, what happens there, the fact that they would actually shoot a scene like that is not something you normally see Hollywood do. There's some kind of bravery here that's happening. And I agree with you. John Bernthal and Ben Affleck are fantastic together. And Ben Affleck's autism, authentic. It felt authentic. I can't tell you if it's authentic. But to me, it didn't feel like it didn't. I didn't get uncomfortable with his performance as an autistic person at all in this movie.
Well, the autism, like Ben Affleck, like I believe has an autistic child. It's been reported, and the way he plays it is with such sympathy and. That so it's like, yes, we can rave about the action aspects of the film, but that dating sequence near the beginning of the movie like completely endears you to his character, like how he struggles with the autism, but he is who he is, and that sequence was really funny.
Yeah, well, I think the ending of that scene was basically him showing how he hacked the system, that the company that put on that speed dating event, how he was able to hack it to get the most amount of women to be attracted to him until they find out who he really is.
Right.
Yeah, that's where the humor is.
Yeah, so a strong recommend. And I will say, having seen these other action movies, like Warfare, very different film. It's really hard to even compare the two.
Yeah, you can't compare it.
Yeah, The Amateur, we had issues with that. This is amazing. Best action movie in theaters now, and strong recommend, especially because Ben Affleck and John Bernthal, they should do other action movies together, not The Accountant, something different. But they really have great chemistry and are convincing with weapons. So strong recommend for me, Alan.
Yeah, strong recommend. Definitely an 8, if not 8.5.
Yeah, I would say same for me. Let's go to comments here.
All right, from Fanafixion, Janui 3000 for $4.99. The Accountant 2 is the best crossover movie. Batman and the Punisher. Shut up and take my money.
Oh yeah, you could look on it as like a team up. That's
autistic
awesome.
Batman. Eurodoc for 20. Are you guys aware of a film, Good Boy, making its way through the film festivals? A horror movie done from a dog's perspective.
Yes, I heard of it. I've heard of it.
A wider release and not a weird Norwegian. That's not the Cate Blanchett movie, is it?
No, it's called Good Boy, and it's a horror movie from the perspective of a dog. And I hear it's amazing. That will probably be in theaters in the fall.
Yeah.
Sometime this year.
It screams A24 to me.
Yeah.
John who gifted 5 from their memberships.
And we will cover it, by the way, as we do lots of indie movies. So there you go. Thanks, Sean Hu.
All right. Timothy Tinkle F. Tinkle F. The procedural thriller. I like procedurals.
I like procedurals too. It has aspects of it.
I've spent entire holidays just watching Law and Order. Jimmy Francis, how does this compare to the first one? You saw the first one.
It's better. It's one of the things that the first movie does. This is just more and better, which is what you want in a sequel.
I mentioned the first one's the origin story.
Effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, was the whole
character.
Was the Ben Affleck character and then his team, was that established in the movie, or was that established before the sequel? It was already all in place. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
In the first one, is it the origin of that organization, or was it already there?
I don't remember that part of it. I just remember Ben Affleck was really good. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure because it came out like 10 years ago.
I know,
but it is on. I started watching it again on Amazon. So So
yeah.
wait,
I read French Moon. The first account was fun, so I don't mind checking that sequel.
Yeah, and then revisit the Accountant 1 on Amazon.
Yeah. And again, I'll say you don't need to have seen the first movie.
Yep. All right, let's get to another review here. Switching. Alan, if you would.
Yep.
Okay, by the way, I did not see Cheech and Chong's last movie. I had a ticket for it, but to see everything, I had to change it. So I have not seen it, and I'm dying to see it.
I have seen it.
Okay, because I am a huge fan of Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke is one of the great comedies of that era. I saw that in the theater so many times, and I am not a marijuana smoker, never have been, don't like the pot, but I love the adventures of Cheech and Chong. The first movie is so many classic moments. I love it. Tell me about Cheech and Chong's last movie.
Yes, well,
a
did you know?
documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary. It's the story of Cheech and Chong. The setup is that Cheech Marin and Tommy Chong are in a car in the middle of the desert, and they are out there to meet someone at a place called The Joint, which they have no idea where it is. But while they're on this trip, they reminisce about the past, and it's pretty much a fairly standard documentary. The story that kind of is the spine of the movie is played for laughs, but there are people they interview. They get specific interviews with Tommy and Cheech. But it's basically their career, where they first started. Tommy was born in Calgary, Canada. He's half Chinese, half Irish. Cheech was born in Watts, and they tell the story of basically how they met up. There's Tommy Chong was an exceptional jazz musician, so much so that he wrote some very famous songs back in the 60s that nobody knew he wrote. Cheech, on the other hand, was a kid from Watts who, had a difficult relationship with his father, and in order to avoid the draft to Vietnam, he got an opportunity to kind of be kind of I want to say a nurse or companion to someone in Canada, and so he got a job and then moved to Canada, and when Tommy had created, so after Tommy did jazz, he started into comedy, created a comedy troupe. Cheech saw the show, wanted to be a part of it, and that's kind of how Cheech and Chong came to be. And it just goes through the story. A chunk of their career was as a comedy duo. They made movies. They made records. I think they were one of the early ones to not only make records, but really succeed at making records. And then it talks about the movies, how they got into the movies, and how basically the movies drove them apart.
Those records, we listened to. What was great about those records and other records at the time, if you remember, Steve Martin, right?
Let's Get Small.
Like those records, we listened to those, and what was cool about it is we always felt like we were doing something wrong. Like, we'd sit there, listen to these albums like, oh my God, we shouldn't be doing this. It was like we were doing drugs by listening to the albums. It was constant. Let's put on the album. We'd laugh our asses off. So it was revolutionary at the time.
Yeah. It's interesting because they have Lou Adler in the movie. And Lou is their record producer. He's famous. He did Tapestry. He produced The Mamas and the Papas, Carole King, Jan and Dean. And he was at a show of theirs, brought him in and said, "Hey, I want to produce your albums." And he also directed Up in Smoke, which kind of broke them up because the one thing you'll find out is that Tommy is very serious about comedy, about the performance of comedy, and he wanted to direct the movies. He didn't want Lou to do it. That was the tension there. And also when they started making more movies, Tommy was the guy in charge, and Cheech was ultimately kind of pushed to the side, and that's what ultimately broke them up. But in terms of a documentary, I think if you're a fan of Cheech and Chong, you're going to love this documentary. I'm not sure that everyone else will. because you really have to know and like these guys to get into it. I'm not as big a fan of Cheech and Chong as you are, but I am now. Just hearing these two guys, they're still friends. They've had their problems, and that is brought out in the film. I had a good time, even though it's over 2 hours long.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's 123 minutes.
It should be 90 minutes tight.
Yes.
It's all right.
Yeah.
So
the stories are interesting. The stories are interesting enough.
Did they get into the story that the movie Stripes, starring Bill Murray, that was supposed to be a Cheech and Chong movie?
Interesting. No, they didn't get into that.
And they rewrote the movie for Bill Murray, but they really wanted, when they did Up in Smoke Part 2, which was not very good, they only did it because they could direct it. And they didn't do Stripes because of that. But there's still pot humor in Stripes with the character of Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that is a big story. They did not get into that.
No, they didn't. Not at all. One interesting fact about Up in Smoke, they both earned $50,000 making that movie. Each. No. I'm sorry. They shared $50,000.
So 25 grand between them.
Yeah, and it made over $100 million in the theaters, and which was huge back in the
but did they profit? Did they share in that?
They got they shared $50,000.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tommy has a good attitude about it. It was basically they took a chance on two nobodies, or two guys who had never made a movie before. And as bitter as they were about it, they kind of understood it, and they got better deals down the road.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Kind of made up for it.
I will catch the movie and see it.
Salman Thornton. I have friends that are like Cheech and Chong, so I will see this.
Cool.
Ololi Ukui. Chris wants everything to be 90 minutes. Yes, that is new.
No,
a new review. Factor that we have to bring in time.
Hey, we've been going through an era where I think movies are too long. So I think, comedies 90 minutes, children's movies for kids 90, epics 3 hours, action movies 2 hours. I mean, it's different. I think and dramas can be 2 hours. I think documentaries and comedies 90.
Yeah, it's ironic, but we talked about that time, money, and quality. It appears that if you have a lot of time and a lot of money, quality suffers. Patrick Lemire, let's go in the garage and listen to Richard Pryor and Cheech and Chong, me 12 years old.
That was also me at 12. And you always thought you were doing something wrong. Like the idea of listening to those albums back then was like, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this. What if we get caught listening to Cheech and Chong? You're not supposed to listen to that album.
Yeah, when I was that age, I was
great.
listening to Steve Martin, Monty Python, and Bill Cosby. And then I discovered Dr. Demento, which just changed my world altogether.
We've got 4 more movies to review. Let's talk about this one, Alan, if you would bring that one up.
Lori is
bouncing. We're bouncing all over the place here.
No, Until Dawn.
It's in the rundown.
No, I think she made a mistake. There you go.
That's all right. That's all right.
It happened.
Well, it's all right. Let's talk about Until Dawn. It's a horror film with a hook, very simple premise. This is from Sony Pictures and director David F. Sandberg. It's a simple story of a group of kids on a trip, and they're basically reconciling the death of a sibling. This group of kids stumbles upon, after stopping at the weird gas station with a creepy guy played by Peter Stormare. He's been in a million things. He's very creepy. He's very good. So this group of friends goes to this town, kind of reconcile, maybe track down their one of the girls' missing sister, and they end up at a house where they get killed and offed one by one by a maniac. And there is a there's like a what happens is at the end of the night, right before dawn, everything resets and they're alive again, and they don't know why. They see a board with a bunch of pictures of people that say missing, missing, missing. What's going on? They're trapped in a loop. It's like Groundhog's Day with Michael Myers. I would imagine that would be the pitch. I think it's part of the thing that would make a movie like this work. So I honestly really liked it, the way it began. The kills were very clever, including a scene where they're just simply drinking water. I don't want to ruin it, but there are there's a lot of cheap jump scares, which they overuse. That gets a bit tiresome, but the kills have to be clever. I gotta say though, the thing that really was weak for me, and I'm sitting here even like I didn't recognize any of the cast. They're really kind of forgettable, almost CW actors. They didn't really stand out to me. Like I just did not like really stand out at all. The diverse cast, just that was kind of typical, and I didn't think anyone really stood out. The emotional kind of what's supposed to be the emotional subtext and running throughout with the missing sister, that was I didn't feel anything. That didn't work for me, and it was just the concept got tiresome by the end, and also the way you're supposed to solve this, solve the kill loop, as it were, because they're being killed, they wake up, they're alive, they get killed again, they get killed again, they get killed again, and the way they have to solve it, I found just kind of not interesting. I like it. I would prefer to not know. I don't mind not knowing something. I don't need everything explained to me. Mm-hmm. I like it better when it's just, this is what it is. In Groundhog's Day, did they ever explain what was going on?
Nope.
Don't need to.
Yep. We're not stupid.
They didn't need to over explain this. I think really what made it weak for me, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this, was the cast. I thought they were just very generic, like just very generic. Get me a this, get me a that. And that was kind of the weakest aspect. And not really caring about these people. And you keep seeing them getting killed. And then they even discuss like, well, maybe we should just kill ourselves and we'll reset, like there's no stakes when you're getting killed over and over again, knowing you're going to come back. Right. And then over explaining the concept at the end, you're like, that's what it's stupid. So I don't know. I want to say it was the one thing that was cool about this were the kills by the end. There's some really clever kills that involve exploding bodies and exploding body parts. That was really good. I thought that was great, but it gets maybe a bare recommend, almost you don't need to see it. This is a streaming thing. So I give it a bare recommend because the kills were good. I'll say that. But ultimately a great concept ruined by over explaining. It was Groundhog's Day meets Mike Myers. What a great concept. And then just loses it by the end.
By the way, you know who one of the co-writers is?
Who? Oh yeah, Blair. Yes. Blair Butler, who I used to work with at G4, was one of the co-writers, and I failed to mention this movie is based on a video game with the same concept.
So in the video game, it's just not they're respawning like you do in every video game that the game.
I never played the video game.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is
it's a PlayStation game?
Yeah, is the replay in the movie because we can respawn in video games, or is that part of the video game?
It's not because of video games. Yeah. I'll just say that.
And then to Blair's defense, according to this, she wrote the first draft, and then they.
I hope she got paid. I support her.
She got paid.
So look, again, a bear recommend. There's it's a new horror film in theaters, which I will go see. But by the end, I was checked out. I think they didn't know what to do. It's like, this is a great concept. How do we wrap it up? I don't know. And then they wrapped it up in kind of a lame way. So there you are. That's my thoughts.
All right. Sons and Shadows. Happy Death Day did this movie better.
Agreed. I liked the first one. I actually like the second one too.
Wizard, remember for 4 months. Jack Quaid is in more stuff than Pedro Pascal. I don't know. It feels equal to me. Mark De Benedetto. No loop in the game. Yeah, so apparently they're replicating the respawn element. Haterator, the video game story is different.
Well, as I mentioned, I never played the game. I would only assume that it would be the same concept. In video games, you die and can start over.
Yeah, but that's every video game.
That's every video game. So if they didn't do that, look, I didn't play the game. I've only seen the movie. So there you are. Let's switch to something you and I have both seen, Alan. We're going to get to Revenge of the Sith momentarily. I promise. But let's talk about On Swift Horses, which I saw a trailer for, didn't realize what it was about. And I saw this at one of the mystery movies. Yeah, Screen Unseen mystery movie a couple weeks ago, and it features really a great cast. Will Poulter is in the cast. Diego Calva plays Henry. He was in Babylon. Jacob Elordi, a really good cast.
He was in Elvis, and then Supergirl is in the cast.
Yeah, well, a different Supergirl, Sasha Kaye, who plays Sandra. This is the gayest movie I've seen this year.
The Wedding Banquet wasn't gayer than this.
Well, the Wedding Banquet was fun.
Okay.
And it wasn't about being gay either. This movie is about gay couples that can't come out. It centers around a married couple played by Daisy Edgar Jones and Will Poulter. They play Muriel and Lee. He proposes to her in the beginning of the movie. His brother is there. And the two get happily married, but there are feelings there. Muriel has feelings for a woman she meets that's very exotic named Sandra, played by Sasha Kaye, and they have a lesbian affair. Julius, played by Jacob Elordi, and has an affair with Henry, Diego Calva. They work together at a casino, and they become lovers. And it's all about, we can't get what we want in this era of it's the 40s, 50s, 1940s, 1950s. Yeah, in that era. And
the Korean War.
More 50s, yeah, after the Korean War. It's a melodrama straight up. It is melodrama. It's all about being, hiding your identity at that time, not being able to be out with your feelings. And Will Poulter is kind of caught in the middle as Lee. Like, he's just in love with his wife. He's just a man of that era. and is kind of caught in the middle. Look, I didn't know what this film was about. It's I did not love it, but it's not because of the characters were gay. I thought all the actors were very
It wasn't
good.
because of the subject matter.
It wasn't the subject matter. I just thought it was sort of tired, the commentary on it. It's like I've seen this movie before and I felt like it didn't have anything to say that was new. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Alan?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and this is what gay movies are. This is what LGBT movies are.
It's very
Every
cliche.
single one of them, and this is why a lot of my gay friends don't watch gay movies, because it's this same story. I can't. It's the coming out story, or I want to be in a relationship, the forbidden relationship, and that's every gay movie. And then I think that's why we liked The Wedding Banquet so much, because there were elements of that, but it wasn't about that. It was just about characters who wanted to get what they wanted. The other thing is, I don't know the sexual orientation of these 5 actors, but the movie felt like it was straight actors playing gay. That's where you kind of, again, the comparison with The Wedding Banquet is, at least with The Wedding Banquet, it felt real. Everything that was going on. This is just like you say, it's all played for melodrama. The upside, there are boobs in this movie. They're very nice. I'm for that. And the other thing is, weirdly enough, the Will Poulter character, Lee, the most sympathetic character in this entire movie, because he's the one who's getting screwed over while everyone else is screwing each other.
He loves his wife.
He wants to build a home for her. He
He
wants to build a family with her. That's his goal in this
That's
movie.
all he wants, is to love his wife, build a home, build a family, and somehow he's the asshole for just, and she is having a secret affair with another woman who is, as soon as she entered, I'm like, oh, she's like, I knew what was going to happen. And you're right. What's funny, what you said earlier, I have gay friends that do not like gay movies. They just do not like them because they are so tired and cliche, and they do the same thing. I'm a victim. I have to hide. Well, guess what? We're living in the 2000s. You don't have to hide. You can be gay out and proud. You can be half naked in public in front of kids now, I guess, at parades. So none of this resonates. It's now, I'm sure it's true to the era, but it, like, movies that are period pieces now are usually commenting on the present. And this movie is just, it may be accurate to the time, but it has nothing new to say. And you're right, Alan. I have gay friends that are like, ugh, gay movies. They don't like gay movies because they're just always the same.
Well, that's why Bros failed so spectacularly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is, this is a problem I see in movies like this all the time. And it's not just gay movies, but you know where the story is going. Like you said, once Muriel and Sandra's character see each other, okay, we know where this is going.
We know exactly.
Yeah.
In fact,
and the thing is, let me get to my
Please.
point. The thing is when you know what's going to happen, automatically you are ahead of the story, and you are so far ahead of the story that you are literally waiting for the story to catch up with you. And that is called being bored in a movie. And that's what I was in this movie. I was just bored because it's like, oh, I know where this is headed. And you just sit there waiting for it to happen. The Amateur was the exact same way, because you knew how that guy in the pool was going to die. And so when you knew that scene was starting, you're just sitting there waiting for the guy to die. You know exactly how it's going to happen, and you're bored because nothing surprises you at this moment.
Yeah, I was bored watching this. There are better gay films. Wedding Banquet was really good. The Wedding Banquet, which we reviewed last week, is a gay. Well, the characters are gay. I don't even know. I guess you'll call it's a gay film. Who cares? But it's a good one. And this is not. So see The Wedding Banquet. In fact, I remember when Bros came out, we have a writer who is gay, who writes for Film Thread, who refused to review Bros. Refused. Was like, no, I'm not reviewing it. In fact, I'm not seeing it. So I do not recommend On Swift Horses. Alan, what about you?
Yeah, no. If you're gonna do something that everyone else has done, you have to somehow figure out how to transcend the genre, and this movie doesn't even try to do that.
Let's go to comments here.
All right, Rossi for 2. Hey, look, it's the Jar Jar guy. Just kidding.
I thought I explained. You know what? Since my comments were not made clear, I will, during the review of Revenge of the Sith, I will clarify my comments.
What did you do?
All I'm going to do is restate what I said yesterday.
Great. All right. American Remnant, Brokeback Cowboy 2, Electric Boogaloo. By the way, Brokeback is coming back to theaters. Albert Pagan. So it's the gayest movie ever. Believe me, there have been gayer movies than this.
Yeah. Okay.
Joe Chapman, My Own Private Idaho did it better. Bill S. Preston Esquire, every week the movie just gets gayer. The movies just get gayer. MK Solid, Chris, I always felt that Yoda's like, maybe we should wait for this one for
I'm going to hold your comment.
Yeah. Mob 19001, Will getting screwed over while everyone around him screw each other. Alan Yang 2025.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
All right. We have 2 more films to review. I'm saving the best for last. But let's do this. So here you go. As we reset. Wait, I'm sorry.
Is that the one?
The Shrouds. David Cronenberg. Yeah. Let's talk. Are we all set? Okay, sorry about that, man. All good, man. I still can't get over your new mic. I love it. Let's talk about The Shrouds, directed by David Cronenberg, who David Cronenberg now, he's in his 80s, 82 years old. That's amazing. Recently celebrated a birthday in March. The Shrouds is a story of Karsh, a man whose wife passed away years ago. His beautiful wife has died, and he turned her death into he became an entrepreneur, and you can interact with your loved ones who have passed on through an app. I'll explain this as best as possible, where you can revisit their dead body beneath the soil. You've got access to an app that allows you to view their body on, and it's decaying. And he builds, he has this franchise now of cemeteries where you can view your loved ones' bodies as they decay, kind of revisit them, as it were. And he's built this company, he has franchises, and he is also a customer of his own company and looking lovingly at his wife's decaying corpse. It all sounds weird. It's a blend of tech and body horror, which is what David Cronenberg does. His wife has a sister who is a twin that somehow gets played by the actress is Diane Kruger, and this twin ends up becoming involved with Karsh. Guy Pearce is the ex-husband of the sister-in-law. I know it's all strange here, which leads to some drama. And I'll just say this. I love David Cronenberg. I love that the way he looks at the world is very, very different. And this sort of mix, I will say this movie is probably the best of modern Cronenberg, which I, for the most part, have not liked. I have not liked. He has failed to reach the heights of Videodrome or The Brood or The Fly, which is I believe is best film. But there's something about this, or Crash even. But modern Cronenberg, I feel, is a lot of movies with interesting ideas that failed to take flight. He put his all into this movie, meaning the scenes where you learn how the tech works, what it accomplishes. Karsh, the actor Vincent Cassel, who plays Karsh, and Diane Kruger, there are nude sex scenes with them. So it does. Cronenberg is, if you watch his movies, he's obsessed with sex and death. And I think this might be the best modern Cronenberg. It's not for everyone. It really, it gets dark. And then at the end, I'll say, I'm not going to give away the ending. It ends on a what? Like this weird kind of, it's almost like he just stopped the story. And it's not a cliffhanger. It's just, why did he end the movie there? Very strange. Look, it's Cronenberg. He's in a class by himself, like David Lynch or John Waters. There are filmmakers and directors that are in a class by themselves. I will say that, like I mentioned earlier, the best of modern Cronenberg, but this is going to turn off your average moviegoer. It's not a horror sci-fi film that many people will relate to, but I will recommend it only because only Cronenberg would make death sexy. He's the only one who could do this. So it gets a bare recommend for me, and also a warning of not for everyone. And if you like stuff that's really weird, check it out. But if you like standard horror, like Until Dawn, then you will not like this. So a bare recommend, probably 6 out of 10 for me. And Alan, I would not recommend it to you. You know what I mean? I would not recommend it to you. So, but the concept is really interesting. It's like, especially because we're so obsessed with apps that do everything. So there's like an app and there's a desktop version. And then there's also a mystery about, which is pretty easy to figure out who's responsible, that someone vandalizes one of the cemeteries. And that leads to mystery that's kind of, it's on the surface, but it's not really what the movie's about. So like I said, bare recommend from me. Let's go to comments. Larson
for 5. H&R Glock deserves a 5.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Our Glenn Nuccio did the thumbnail for that. I complimented him. That was great. Thank you.
Solomon Thornton, this will give Elon Musk ideas.
Yeah.
You hook up your cemetery plot to Starlink and everything's there. Seed, we're talking necrophilia to a whole new level. The Shrouds.
Yeah.
Is it really like that?
Yes.
Okay. Mob 19001. Refreshing idea, though it's morbid.
Well, it's Cronenberg. What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to our last review of the day. Alan, it is the 20th anniversary of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, the third film in the prequel trilogy. It probably, the most loved of the prequel films, where we finally get to see the showdown between Obi-Wan and Anakin. We finally get to see Anakin transform into Darth Vader. I still think it's a very flawed film, but it's in theaters with a popcorn bucket. Yeah. Alan, you saw it last night. Tell me your thoughts. I did not get into a theater nearly completely sold out. I did sneak in just to see how it looked. It looked phenomenal on the big screen. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen Revenge of the Sith, so I
Yeah.
don't need to necessarily talk about the story, but you know, it's hard not just to sit there and realize how bad Disney Star Wars is when watching this. This is look, Attack of the Clones. I love episodes 1 through 6. Even Phantom Menace, I'm a really big fan of. I will admit, Attack of the Clones, the worst movie. It's a bad movie. But watching it, it just harkens back to just how much the reasons why I love Star Wars in the first place, and to see where Disney Star Wars has been taken. You know, this one, the reason I like this one, and the reason I like the episodes 1 through 3 is because it had something to say. And in this one, this movie is all about the turn of Anakin into Darth Vader. And just the pieces, the little things the Emperor does to just turn Anakin against the Jedi, and then to finally pull out that plan, and then the tragic way at the end in which Anakin becomes Darth Vader, to me is, you know, it's this idea that this is what the sequel should have been. There should have been some element of this where you latched on to an idea and you just ran with it. But the problem with sequels is you just didn't get that sense. You don't know why we moved from 7 to 8 and from 8 to 9. There was no real thread or spine to it. And this is just the culmination of it all. I will say, George Lucas cannot write romance for the life of him. The moment,
True.
So Anakin is back after rescuing the Chancellor Palpatine, and he goes back to Padme in one of the most awkward romantic scenes ever made for film. There's a point where they talk about love, and how much he's in love with her, and then she says she feels ugly because she's pregnant, and he sees her as beautiful, and then the thing ends with, oh, then you're blind because love is blind. And I'm like, oh god, this is awful. This is such cringy love dialogue. Other than that, though, Yoda is the star of this movie for me, because he's the one with a major character arc. The whole, getting the twins off to Tatooine and Alderaan. Look, again, we've all seen it, so I'm spoiling the ending. I will admit, the moment in which Obi-Wan delivers Luke to Owen and Beru, and then he takes Luke up to the top, and they see the 2 moons of Tatooine, or the 2 suns of Tatooine, and I started choking up. It was like, oh. This is kind of the look. I'm the one who liked episodes 1 through 3, except, I mean, generally like it more than most people do, and this is just the culmination of that. I am so glad, and I am going to take my daughter to see this movie.
Well, I will see it in the theater. I was unable to last night. I had other movies I had to see, but. Yeah, this is of the 3, this I think is the best. But here's what's weird about the prequels. They had their moments. They had stuff. You mentioned the dialogue, the romance dialogue is, yes, it's terrible. But there are other things that are so great. Action sequences. The prequels have the best lightsaber duels of all of Star Wars. The lightsaber duels,
because there were more than 3 total in 4 through 5.
They're so good. They're so good. The best ones. And there are so many great moments in the prequels combined with terrible eye-rolling cringe and god-awful stuff. But there's stuff that really works and is amazing. So, I will say that, having watched Andor season 2 recently, that the political Machiavellian things happening behind the scenes with the Senate and all that is better done in Andor season 2 than in this. However, this this leads into all this stuff connects. That's why I think I think the prequels have aged well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so. I think the prequels have aged well, as opposed to, we're also, by the way, this year is the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens. Are we celebrating that?
No.
So I don't know. I first of all, I cannot wait to. It is sold out tonight on a Friday.
Oh, you should come down here. That we've got the early screenings are open down here.
That's okay. I want to see it with a packed audience. I want people, a bunch of people there. I saw people there.
Go to a different theater. There's seats available.
People were dressed up, wearing T-shirts, had popcorn buckets. It's a celebration. So I think I will say
one comment. Okay. You know, I remember when The Acolyte came out, and it's that lightsaber battle between Keemer and Saul, and the internet blew up about this being the greatest lightsaber battle ever. And you watch Revenge of the Sith. Duel of the Fates was great. Revenge of the Sith has some really great that final battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Just the fact that it's awkward locations in which they have to fight. They have to climb a tower. They're standing on these platforms over lava and just kind of staring at each other, waiting for their platforms to get close to each other. You know, the thing about lightsaber battles, that the reason they work is because there's a story being told with them. That is just not choreography. Someone saying, hey, this move would look great. This move would look great. No, there's a reason why. And what's great about the battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin is that Obi-Wan is the steadfast Jedi. And so he is a certain style in which he fights with a lightsaber, while Anakin fights with passion. Fights with passion, fights with anger, fights with hatred. And that's what makes that such a great battle, is because there are very different styles now going up against each other. And the question is, how is Obi-Wan possibly going to overcome this very passionate, angry person?
Well, I can't wait to see it again. I think, I'll say that the prequels are littered with some of the greatest Star Wars moments ever.
Some of the worst,
combined with some of the worst Star Wars moments ever, which is really, when George made the prequels, there was no one around him to say no. The first two Star Wars movies, he had Marsha Lucas, who basically made Star Wars in the editing room. He made that a watchable film. It was not in its rough assembly. It was a mess. And Gary Kurtz was another person who could say, no, George, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
There was no one saying no to the bad ideas in the prequel films, which is why so many editors have made like the Phantom edit or re-edits of the prequels, because when you cut out the garbage, there's a decent film in there, right? There's a decent film in there. And I'll argue this. Here's a point I made on Drinker Show, that the problem with Jar Jar Binks is this. The first movie, The Phantom Menace, I like that film as well. I like that. I think that may be my favorite of the prequels, and I'll tell you why. It's unfiltered George. No one was saying you can't do this, you can't do that, whatever. And let me get to my point here. The problem with Jar Jar is this, twofold. One, George was so obsessed with Jar Jar, he gave the Joseph Campbell hero's journey to Jar Jar. Every beat of the hero's journey that you map out on with Joseph Campbell, what he laid out is the hero's journey. That was Jar Jar's character, the refusal of the call, the leaving home, returning a hero, all those things. That was Jar Jar did all that. And I would argue this. I remember when I saw the first scene where they meet Jar Jar, there were two things. One, the voice was annoying. Jar Jar's voice is based kind of on Barney the dinosaur. And as a parent to two young kids at the time when the movie came out, I hated Barney the dinosaur. I'd hear it in the background, in that shrill Barney the dinosaur voice. There's a great documentary on Peacock called I love you, you hate me about Barney. You'll be shocked. Watch that doc series. Really good. But that voice, so the voice acting was not good, and the screen time. Every Star Wars movie has stuff that's cute, has comic relief. If you put C-3PO in as many scenes as Jar Jar was in episode 4, if you had C-3PO, you would be annoyed with C-3PO. The problem with Jar Jar is screen time. If you cut his screen time down by less than half, maybe a third, take a third of his scenes and just keep those, Jar Jar would be fine. And if you change the voice, things that
and you'd have a 90-minute movie, which it made
there's not much to cut, but cut him down. He's not that bad, and kids do like Jar Jar. So I think get a different voice actor, cut his scenes down. There is an you can probably find it online, a thing called Star Wars The Phantom Edit. I think it's the West Coast or East Coast version. Someone re-edited episode 1, and they not only changed Jar Jar's voice, they subtitled him. They cut all the stupid scenes like him stepping in poop, all the dumb scenes with Jar Jar, his tongue getting caught places, the ones that made him look dumb, and they made him into a proud warrior race. And the subtitle, it's a completely different movie when you do that. George could have saved episode 1 and Jar Jar the character if he had other people around him to give him better ideas, because George has no shortage of good ideas, but they're not all good. So there's my explanation of Jar Jar. And
so why did people hate you for it? I mean,
no, I think I explained it well.
No, I don't understand why people were criticizing what you just said.
Because people just want to hate on stuff.
They want to hate on it. Yeah, you and Snarky. Yeah.
I got a bigger question.
Yeah.
Answer this for me. As a kid, when I learned that they were Jedi Knights, Obi-Wan spoke of the Jedi Knights, a different time. My imagination, my head went wild. What did the Jedi Knights look like? What were their costumes? Did they wear armor? What were they like? And then when the prequels came around, we found out that the Jedi Knights, the protectors of peace in the galaxy, dressed like farmers on Tatooine.
Oh, come on.
They dressed like farmers on Tatooine.
No. Sure. They need to be ornate. They need to be in full armor. No, the whole point is Jedi don't need that stuff. They're simple people. That's why they wear robes and a belt. They don't need the accessories. Robes, belt, and a lightsaber, and you can defeat anybody. That's the other thing. The first episode 1. I think even George mentioned it, but I think he said that he made it for kids, and I could attest to that because when the 10th anniversary of Phantom Menace came out, my daughter was 7, and I took her to see it, and she liked Phantom Menace. I wouldn't say loved, but she liked Jar Jar, and and I think, and also the fact that Anakin was a child in the movie also relates to kids. I don't know if that was the wisest decision to made, but it was the decision that was made. And, I think he was trying to bring in a young generation into Star Wars, and that was episode 1.
I will say there is a generation that the prequels and when it's like when kids.
Yeah, when you were a kid.
It impacted them more. And there's a really good documentary I will recommend, not just because I'm in the documentary. It's called The Prequels Strike Back. A young filmmaker from Texas made this movie because when he was a kid, he loved the prequels. He loved them. He saw all 3. Then he was like 14, 15 years old. He went online and he realized, who are all these people that hate the prequels? And he made this. I mean, this documentary changed my mind about a lot of aspects of the prequels. Seek it out. The Prequels Strike Back. A film that really tries to justify that trilogy, and I think does a very good job. It'll make you look at things from a different point of view. But I will see episode 3 in the theater. I can't wait. I might get the popcorn bucket.
Yeah. No, you have the popcorn bucket.
Yeah, Alan got me the popcorn bucket. What a great friend.
It's in my car right now.
I'll see you on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have the other stuff for you as well.
Cool. But yeah, so I will see it in the theater if I can get a decent seat. I will see it.
Go to a different theater. That's all you have to do.
All right, let's go to comments here.
All right, Thomas Pickett for 5. Please tell me the popcorn bucket is a Anakin burn stump. Oh, that would have been great. Yeah, you lift it up and you put the popcorn and you eat out of his guts. Rawson for 10. Saw Revenge of the Sith last night. I just wanted to say I've watched Phantom Menace behind the scenes. You are completely right. Jar Jar is the key to everything. George Lucas, from the making of Menace, Lucas was obsessed.
Yeah, Rossi, just to let you know, that documentary, which is on YouTube, it's called The Beginning. And George was obsessed with Jar Jar, and he put his whole focus on this character that should have been a side character. Hey, Quarter Black Garrett.
Hey,
good to see you. Hey, I'm going to be listening to FNT later this afternoon. He says, I was 8 when it came out. It was all about Obi-Wan and the Jedi and couldn't care less about Jar Jar and his farts.
Kids love farts.
Poop. Yeah, thank you, Garrett. Always good to hear from you, man. Love seeing you in Vegas. Thank you. More comments here.
The Nerd Far Away. This movie exposed one of the first plot holes I gave any thought to. Leia had memories of her mother in Return of the Jedi. So when she dies, when she dies in this one, I was confused.
Yeah, they never explain.
Well, I think it's a force. It could be a force thing where they're kind of connected memories, blah blah blah. Midi-chlorians that were left over that she took in. Blah. Yeah,
that one will never be explained.
Lord Thoth, yes, yeah, Alan. And the movie stirred the emotion when we see the moons of Tatooine. I corrected myself. I said sons of Tatooine.
Twin sons of Tatooine.
Twin sons of. I knew I got it wrong. Razorburn. Lucas should have had someone else do dialogue like he did in Empire. At least 100%. The romance scenes. At least the romance scenes.
Have someone else come in and punch it up.
That's when you want to get a woman involved. Rewrite that dialogue. ADL's 24. I feel like episode 3 should have been a true 3-hour epic.
Agree.
The 220. Come on. BMO better. I so wanted to love this movie when it came out, but it must be my generation and the expectations built up. I left disappointed.
BMO better, same. When I first saw it, I was, especially that no moment. I was disappointed because in my mind, I'd imagined what this could have been. And same thing with the sequels. The sequels are a disappointment because I imagine Han, Luke, and Leia reuniting and having more adventures.
Bingo.
Didn't do that. That's the bingo card on the bingo card. Thank you, BMO better.
All right, Patrick Lemire. Revenge of the Sith is the only one that was good. Digital had progressed to the point that it was terribly distracting to look at.
It wasn't.
Look, it was the first. Look, the prequels were the first. Jar Jar. The significance of Jar Jar is it was probably the first completely CG animated character in movies at that time, and maybe that's why Lucas was obsessed about getting it right. MK Solid Chris, I always felt that Yoda's lightsaber hilt should have been very old, maybe something more of bone or rusty metal. He was 900 years old. I think George dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, they could have designed something like this is like so old. It's like
no, because he's on Coruscant. So Yoda, when his hilt gets old and torn up, he goes out and buys a new one.
Sure, he goes
on
to
Dagobah. On Dagobah, you can understand why it was should be old and tattered. But look, I'm sure there's a manufacturer on Coruscant or on Gorman who could have helped him with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes to romance scenes, I just think, Alan, you are my density. You're not going to say anything?
Yeah, I wish I was the one dying. Yes, I could have written it better.
Now that's called romance right there. That's romance. So that's going to wrap it up for us. Next week, Versus is back on Monday. We'll talk about Thunderbolts coming out. We are going to see myself, Dante, Alan, we're all going to see the Thunderbolts on Monday night. We will be doing a late night. We're going to do an out of the theater reaction. I'll post that, but we'll also do a late night Film Threat After Dark. We have an intro for that. There you go. Film Threat After Dark on Monday. We'll be here and we will give you our initial thoughts, social reaction, as it were, to the Thunderbolts. And then Wednesday, we'll do a full review and probably spoiler review on Friday. We're going to milk it, folks. We have to. Because I don't know. One thing, I think they'll have like good music. Hum the theme to Sherlock Holmes right now.
Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do-do, Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do. Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do-do, Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do. Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do-do, Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do. Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do.
Yeah, should I re-record it on the new mic?
Yes.
No, I'm not doing that.
All right. First of all, I love this new mic. I love the new mic. I'm all in. I'm all in on the new mic.
All right.
I love it, Alan. So cool. That wraps it up for us today. Thanks to our mod, MK Solid, Lord Thoth, Atomic Lori, Glenuccio. Appreciate you all. We'll be back Monday. Next week is Thunderbolts week. Yes. I even put something in my background. If you can, I don't know if you can. Oh, you can't really spot it.
Oh, the Wheaties.
I put the
you
got
got light. You got to fix your lighting on that one.
I'll fix it. But
by the way, I just got confirmation. I'm seeing Friendship on Saturday, tomorrow.
I got confirmation, and they said I couldn't have a +1, so I'm not going.
You're not going? Well, I'm going.
No. Yeah. So there you go. I'm not going to see Friendship. But can you film the Q&A?
Yeah, I'll do that
with the director.
Yes.
And post it. So get a good seat. Sit within the first 3 rows.
Okay.
So I'm not going. You know what I'm going to? I showed you what I'm going to. I am going to see. Well, I'm not going to see. I'm going to a rave party.
Oh, that's right.
Alien themed.
Just gotta remove that.
There we go. There you go. So LV426. That's right. Tomorrow is April 26th, which is it's Alien Day, whatever. And I'm going to a rave party for Alien. I'll be there. And you'll be going to see Friendship, and I'm jealous.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
I'm looking forward to this one.
All right. We'll be back Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Alan?
Let's get out of here.